Well, good morning, everyone. And once again, welcome to another live this morning. Hope you're having a great start to your day. We love when you guys can come on. We appreciate it big time. Let's see if I can say hello to a few of you when you get your notifications. Okay, so let me see here if I get my notification. Okay, here we go. Good morning, everyone. And we'll wait a shake here. Let me see if I can see anything. I haven't even got mine, although I see my face up there. Okay. Refresh it again. And how are you guys? Okay, so maybe not. Let's see. There we go. There we go. Now I can say hello. Okay, so I'm going to go from my list. Good morning, everyone. Bonnie, Sandy, Linda, New Brunswick, Joyce, Sandy from Vancouver, Washington, Janine, Patricia from Florida. It ain't Florida here in Northern Ontario today. It's cold. Vince, Nick from our staff, Dennis from Norwich, Kristen, how are you from Saskatchewan? Elaine, Francis, Marie, Shirley, Patricia, Sue, Milika, Diane, Karen, Wanda from Virginia. And let's see, John from Elgin, Illinois. Nice to have you on. Cindy, Linda. Oh, we love those Lindas. Diane, David, Danny Lee, Iron Bridge, Gloria, Cecilia, good morning. Faye, how are you? Lorraine, and let me see, David, did I say David? Diane from Thunder Bay, Linda, I already said that, I remember that. Okay, Carol, West Virginia, Dave, Muskoka, Patricia, Kevin, Oshawa, Karen, Francis from Vaughan, and Brahim, there you are, my friend. And Mary James from Anaheim, California, how are you? Rosalinda from the Kidneys of Canada. Niagara Falls, Dorothy, Nellie, Karen. 2 Karens in a row. One from Minising, Ontario, and the other one from Peterborough. Okay, I know where Peterborough is. April. Helga, Rosalinda says, he misses the first part of the list. You're probably right, Rosalinda, Helga, Natalie, Donna. I'm going to say, hi, Cheryl. I'm going to say hello to Doc McEwen because I never see her name, or rarely. And usually she's on. And Lisa Marie. Brenda. Fran, there you are from Orangeville. A lot of times I miss her. And Kevin says could they come up first? But I don't see you. Mary, Sue, how are you from Bolton? Donna, Bell, Ewart. Okay. So we put out an email. We talked about this, I think, last week. I can't remember. But let me just re-emphasize this. And it was an 11-year supplement. 11-year study of giving supplements to people who had been in the hospital, because what happens in Canada and the United States, 1 out of 5 people, when they go to the hospital and they're admitted into the hospital, within a year they're going back and to be readmitted. So what this study was trying to find out is if there was any difference if when the patients left the hospital and they were given supplements, would it make any difference in whether they came back or not? And by the way, the return to the hospital in the United States cost taxpayers, insurance companies, but at the end of the day, we all pay $17.5 billion. And And 11-year study, they found a 10.1 reduction in readmissions, 12% reduction in in people that took supplements, myocardial infarction, and a 16% reduction in readmission stays. And if they got readmitted, it was shorter. So guys, at the end of the day, you know me, you can't out-supplement a bad diet. You can't. But, and this is a big but, you, in my humble opinion, everybody and their dog should be taking certain supplements. And my rule of thumb is, if I could get into every senior home, I'd take 2 vitamins with me. And I know the benefits to seniors, especially if they supplement with vitamin B12, unbelievable results, and vitamin D. Don't hold your breath, okay? Don't go and hold your breath to find out if the world is going to recommend this. Nope. It doesn't matter what kind of evidence you show them. We live in a world where big pharma and big food, they dictate far more than we like to admit, but they dictate. And I was talking to someone the other day about B12, for example, okay? Just having coffee with a friend of mine, and I was telling him about B12 and how, when I was a young lad, okay, in the 1950s, B12 was, it was just standard care. You were tired? You got a B12 shot. And what happened to that? What happened to that? Like, you can hardly get a physician. Seriously. If it didn't come in most routine blood tests, they wouldn't even look at it. Like, whenever I ordered blood, if the lab didn't send me a B12 number, I would, even though I went much more on symptoms than the numbers, but I still wanted to know the numbers. And you didn't come and see me unless I tested your B12 and your vitamin D. What? I wanted to know. B12 and vitamin D. So, is it gonna be part of our medical system going forward? No, I'm not confident. I tried during the pandemic to talk about, at least the least we could do is give everybody and their dog vitamin D. Who was listening? Some, my audience, but not most. And I'll tell you, if another virus comes around and you listen to the world, the flu season is coming, and you'll hear very little talk about you'll hear about the flu shot, but you're not going to hear about vitamin D. It'll be, what's that got to do with your immune system type of thing. But anyway, you guys know better, and I know I'm preaching to the choir, and we put that email out. So if you don't get our emails, make sure you sign up at martinclinic.com. I really want you to get those emails, because we put a fair amount of information in the emails, a little bit more detailed than I give out here sometimes. Well, sometimes not, but okay. I'm just doing some headlines. I might go through these quickly. Cancer-linked herbicide, okay? Roundup, okay? Glyphosate. Is it phosphate or glyphosate? Anyway, Roundup. I always knew it as Roundup, okay? Listen to this. 80% of Americans, and we're no different, okay? So Americans, if you got your stats, when it comes to health, 93% of Canada is metabolically unwell. 93%. We're no different than the USA. It's the same number. 93% of North Americans have metabolic syndrome, which leads to chronic disease. And what did they say in the United States the other day? 76.4% of Americans have a chronic disease. Wow. All the tea in China is not going to fix that. What that cost in healthcare, and it's not even healthcare, guys, what we have. We have disease care. What that will cost us in disease care is going to bankrupt us. We're really bankrupt when you look at our deficits. And we, in Canada, we have an influx. Like, our population has gone from 30 million to 40 million and above very quickly here in the last less than 10 years. And we're overwhelmed. We're overwhelmed in our healthcare system here because it's disease care. And, you know, go back to supplements. Who's doing it to try and prevent? Who's taking care of their diet the way they should be? It's too bad. And cancer-linked herbicide, which is Roundup, it's been classified in Europe as a carcinogenic, and yet we still spray. I know in Northern Ontario, they sprayed our forest here with Roundup. %, and this was done in the USA, have it in their bodies. They do a urine test and you're peeing it out. 80%. And guys, again, you know what I say about this all the time. Look, I mean, you're not going to get away from it. Like, you can run, but you can't hide. You can run to Costa Rica, but the plastic and the Roundup will find you there. You can use natural deodorant. Good for you. I'm all for it. You can use a scent-free home. Good for you. But I'm telling you, you can run, but you can't hide. It's just the way it is. And, you know, like, we're not going to turn that around. It's just in everything. It's in the air. It's in micro doses. You can't see it. And yet, it's everywhere. Cancer-linked herbicide, this is the headline, found in 80% of Americans. 80% have it. Do you think they know they have it? Of course they don't know. We're accumulating 1.5 credit cards worth of plastic and microplastics every week. Take care of yourself. Make yourself a lean, mean fighting machine. That's why I talk about vitamin D all the time. It is the super king of your immune system. Vitamin D. It helps your T cells, not only for infection. It helps your natural killer cells to get rid of cancer cells and to keep them at bay. You need vitamin D. Probiotics. Guys, I'm telling you, we did a study. I didn't do a study. I read you a study. I can't remember when I did this. I'm looking at my notes because usually I see my notes. Probiotics help clear your body of pesticides, herbicides, and xenoestrogens, plastic probiotics. Your microbiome. Replace, replenish, replace, replenish that bacteria. Somebody asked a very good question the other day. I'm glad you asked it. You asked, Doc, can I overdose on probiotics? Is it possible? I tell you guys, I don't know nothing about math, okay? I wasn't good in math, okay? I got a grandson that teaches math. I said to him, well, you didn't get that from me. Okay? 2 + 2. I know that. But I wasn't good in math, okay? It just wasn't my strength. But here's what I do know. The difference between a billion and a trillion, it's like light years difference in terms of numbers. Because we throw that around, right? Listen, when I was a kid, okay? When I was a kid, we talked about a millionaire. Like, that was so rare. Like, okay, in the 1950s, a millionaire. I mean, that was Rockefeller. A millionaire. You mean he's got $1 million? Right? Okay. Today, we talk about a billionaire. And when you compare a million to a billion, that's a huge, huge difference in numbers. Guys, in your microbiome, you got trillions of bacteria. Okay? I don't know who counted. Trillions. Okay? When I was a kid, I just got to tell you this because I find it interesting. You might not, but let me just say it. When I was a kid, okay, in school, I remember they talked about stars in the heavens, okay? This is the difference now in the telescopes, okay? There's thousands of stars. No, they're not. There's trillions of them. Because the better the telescope, the more they find. You can't even count. It's the same thing, guys, with your bacteria inside your body. I know you can't count it, but it's trillions. Holy smokes. But those bacteria, it's a blend of good and bad, guys. It's a war. It's invisible. And you just want to constantly keep that microbiome healthy. And you do it by eating the right foods. Don't feed the bad guys. Don't feed yeast. When you take an antibiotic, make sure you're on probiotics during the treatment and after. Double up big time. Replenish, replace. Guys, I used to prove it to patients all the time. Prove it. By regenerating and replenishing probiotic. And listen, this isn't new. It's new to the world because I mention this all the time. Probiotics, like in medicine, they're just starting to catch on. I've been talking about this for 40 years. I've been talking about your bacteria that is on your side for 40 years. One of the things when I wrote my first book on chronic fatigue syndrome, I talked about leaky gut, and you better fix it. You better fix it. You better stop the leak. People thought I came from another planet. His last name is Martin, right? He must be a Martian. He's crazy. Cancer-linked herbicide, outlawed in Europe, found in 80% of Americans. And I'll tell you, plastic, 100%. From placentas to Mount Everest, it don't matter where you go. No matter a little baby in the placenta, guess what? You got plastic in there. You can't get away from it. It's in the water. It's everywhere. It's in the air. You can't see it. And I'm not telling you to leave the planet, guys. I'm not. I'm just telling you what I see. Okay, let me see if I have time for one more. Okay, that was study done. Let me see if I got any more. I'm way back here. Okay, major study. We've got a testosterone problem. Yeah. We don't have enough manly hormones anymore. Men, it's incredible when they do studies on this, and this is just a newer one. Sperm counts are way, way down in men. Again, we look at the environment. That's a big, big factor. These xenoestrogens. What is a xenoestrogen? It's a chemical that looks like estrogen to your body. Okay? Plastic. Roundup. What does it look like? Your body thinks, oh, that's estrogen, because it's a xenoestrogen. And guys, it is creating havoc in our society today. The amount of chemicals that mimic estrogen are through the roof. And what it's doing to men is it's sinking their testosterone. Now this, it shouldn't be controversial in my opinion, but it's a little bit controversial. When a man gets prostate cancer, they try and eliminate testosterone, because I understand why they do it, because they think that testosterone is a growth hormone. It is. But the problem when a man gets prostate cancer and benign hyperplasia, which is a prostate condition where the prostate grows. It's estrogen. It's not testosterone, it's estrogen. Men in their 50s, tested, The vast majority have more estrogen in their bodies than women do. What? They do. It's the opposite of what should happen. Of course, as we get older, a man's going to lose some levels of testosterone. It starts when we're 30 years old. That's why you have to take care of yourself, men. You need to eat more steak. That's how you get testosterone. That's why? Because you get zinc. You get selenium. You get the proteins you need to build up your testosterone. You need to get strong. You need to get into a gym or do resistant exercises. And you need to dim out your estrogen. Dim it out. Flax seeds, dim it out. You know how many men I got on our menopausal, like men do, men. I used to have a patient that said, and my husband's in andropause. Not menopause, andropause. Men. Well, a lot of men are like that. And they don't have enough testosterone. It's a big problem in the world today. It's a huge problem in the world today. And by the way, you're not going to get enough testosterone, men, without vitamin D. There's another reason to take vitamin D. If you can't get enough sun, like here, I'm looking out my window and there ain't no sun. And even if there was, it's cold. September, what did I used to say on my radio show for years? I took the summers off in radio. I'd start back in September on the radio. And I'd say, time to take your vitamin D. Here we go. Because we're not getting enough sun. On the sunny days, yeah, nice, but it's too cold. You're not sunbathing in Northern Ontario. Okay? So start taking your vitamin D. And one of the reasons is for testosterone. We have a testosterone problem in North America. Not enough testosterone. Men need testosterone. Even a man, their heart needs testosterone. Their brain needs testosterone. Ladies, you need estrogen. You know what the problem is with women? They got way too much. Way too much. And, you know, like listen, I did hormones for years and testing hormones for years and years, okay? And women would ask me because they were research. I always appreciated women especially because they did a lot of research. And they come and see me and I go, Doc, are you going to test my testosterone in a woman? I say, no. Nope. Why? Well, I don't care what your testosterone is. What? I don't care. I know you're going to have a little bit, but I'm more interested in your estrogen and your progesterone. Those two I care about. Testosterone in a woman, I don't care. The only reason that you would have high testosterone in a woman is if you have too much estrogen. And I could prove it to people. Because if I had a woman that had PCOS, polycystic ovarian disorder, never an exception to it. They had two big problems. They had too much insulin. That's a food hormone. And they had too much estrogen. And that elevated their testosterone. And they would often have hair growing on their chin, hair growing where women didn't want it, and a lack of hair up here. Because estrogen dominance slowed their thyroid to a stinking crawl. it was estrogen dominance compared to progesterone. And then physicians would get mad at me. Well, in menopause or perimenopause, Dr. Martin, estrogen gets low. No, it don't. Sorry. Well, it's lower, yes, but it's always got to be measured in relationship to progesterone. That's the key. That's the key to woman's health. And in men, testosterone sinks like the Titanic for men in their 50s especially. It happens earlier and they lower testosterone. They don't get enough vitamin D. They don't eat enough steak. And they don't have enough zinc. And they don't have enough vitamin A. You need that. You need that. You need selenium for the prostate to function properly because that elevates your testosterone. Sun, steak, and steel. You need to build muscle. It's a great, great supplement. Sun, steak, and steel. And sleep. Sleep helps. Okay. Anyway, I thought I'd bring that to you. That was a new study. Okay, you know what tomorrow is? Tomorrow. You know what tomorrow is? Tomorrow is Q&A. Okay, already we're back to Q&A. Okay, we love Q&A. I love Q&A. Okay, send in your questions. I don't think it's too late to info@martinclinic.com. Info@martinclinic.com. Q&A. Here we go. Okay. Guys, okay, 90,000 and counting followers on Facebook. 90K. And guys, it just goes up onesies by twosies, okay, these days. I don't know. Facebook has changed their settings. I don't understand it. But anyway, doesn't matter. We're still right near the top of Facebook Live followers, 90K. Then the Doctors in Podcast. It's the #1 health podcast in Canada. Let's make it #1 in North America. Millions of downloads, guys. Who do I thank for that? You. Where would we be without you? When my son, this is years ago, said, Dad, we're flipping from radio to podcasting. You'll be able to reach the world. You're limited. Even though your radio shows are syndicated, you're still limited. But with podcasting, you're not limited. You'll see. And I go, what's a podcast? He says it's radio on steroids. Okay. My son is so much smarter than me. He's like his mother. Okay. We love you dearly. Send in the questions to info@martinclinic.com. We will talk to you soon. Love you dearly.